Hello and welcome to another episode of Breaking Mayberry, the show that was injured at halftime and came back without any clue where it was, but gave a magnificent performance out of nowhere.
Yeah.
I'm one of your hosts. I'm Marty Schneider.
Welcome to Breaking Mayberry, the show from Philadelphia with no bitterness whatsoever. The show that's handling things great.
The show that's doing just fine. The show that, with zero irony, suggested multiple times today that there should be a congressional investigation into the NFL's referees.
Yeah. So, the show that's thriving, really. In fact, maybe you guys have the problem. Maybe it's you, huh? We're doing great. The show that's getting increasingly defensive.
The show that had a party anyway, just to show that we're better than the others. We lost the Super Bowl, folks. I don't know if you know what we're talking about. Philadelphia lost the Super Bowl, and on a bullshit call and like one of the most disappointing endings to a Super Bowl game I've ever seen.
Yeah.
A game that had been fantastic up until that point.
I got my best rioting clothes on. I was going to go be amongst my people, and instead I did the slow death march home amongst people deciding whether or not to hit something.
That's why I didn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
I didn't go anywhere because I was hedging my bets. I was like, you know what? I'm staying home. If I need to march down Broad Street, it's right there. And if I need to go to bed, it's also right there.
Yeah.
That's why I didn't go anywhere. But like since then, just this weird little bit of bitterness through the whole city has permeated, where it's just like, yeah, well, we're still Philly, and it's better to be us than Kansas City anyway, which I suppose is probably true.
Yeah.
But like,
so as you can tell, we're dealing with it great. The vibe here is 10 out of 10. It's really, everybody here has been so nice for like the past 3 weeks that it is just a hard crash into be like, actually, I want to take back all my human kindness. I'm going to be twice as mean to make up for the fact that I said you looked nice on the street. You didn't look nice, and in fact, give me all your money. Fuck you.
I don't know, man. I feel like the Super Bowl vibe here has been, it's different than like when the Phillies were in the World Series. Like the lead up to this felt a little bit on edge. When the Phillies were in the World Series and we were playing baseball, everybody was like, go Phils, go Phils. Hello World is a song that we're singing. Come on, get happy. Like the whole city was very sunshine and rainbows. And the past couple weeks leading up to the Super Bowl, it's been like you're having a good time, but the kind of good time that people on cocaine have.
Yeah.
You know, like we're all happy, we're all up and enjoying this, but that can crash at any point.
Yeah. So
quick note, Philadelphia has now lost three major sports championships in a span of 4 months. The MLS Cup, the World Series, and the Super Bowl. 2 of those were on the same day.
Yeah.
So, let's go Sixers!
So, I knew we needed an intro, and I was worried that we were going to get sucked into complaining about the Super Bowl, because that's the vibe that we've both been in today. So, to make sure that we had something to talk about today, I did something kind of drastic. Marty, I got a tattoo.
Yeah!
Yeah. So,
what you got?
Episode saved. I'm shooting it over to you right now.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah.
You got the no face tattoo on the back of your leg, which all right, kind of a dumb place for a tattoo. Like
it's my first tattoo, and I literally thought about what it was going to be for like 5 seconds because I was going.
I like it.
Yeah,
I
was gonna go with the Magnola skull, like the way the Hellboy guy draws skulls for a little bit, and Brianna kept being like, I support the decisions that you want to make, but are you sure you're the kind of person that can put a skull on their body? Are you sure that meets with your vibe? And I was like, yeah, I think it's a good idea, but the way everybody looks at me whenever I say it indicates it's probably not.
It's hard to do that. It's hard to pick like a tattoo for like what kind of vibe you're putting on, right? Like, did I ever tell you about my dad's tattoo and what I did with a radio show?
No.
All right, so my father has several tattoos.
Mm-hmm.
and they're all ranging in quality, I will say this, but the most notable one is that my dad is very into... He at the time of this, he had two big hobbies. One was sci-fi, the other was mountain biking.
Mm-hmm.
My father has a tattoo on the back of his leg where you have your tattoo.
Can I guess? Can I guess?
Yeah.
I'm gonna say that it is. I'm gonna say, the guy from Blade Runner doing a really sick jump on a BMX.
Okay, so you're halfway there.
Yes!
You're halfway
Wait,
there.
which half did I get?
The Blade Runner part is wrong.
Damn it! One more try. It's not Darth Vader because your father wouldn't get a Star Wars tattoo. The Xenomorph?
Think more generic. You're putting like an actual specific alien in there, but no, we're going more generic.
Is it just an alien on a bike?
It's just an alien. It's just a little green man on a mountain bike doing a wheelie and giving the peace sign.
Fuck yes!
It is actually the logo of a mountain bike race in Roswell, New Mexico, which under those contexts makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
But my father, who has not been in that race, as far as I know, just has a tattoo of like a clip art alien giving a peace sign, doing a jump on a mountain bike. And I say that out loud, and it's sick as that. Like, that sounds awesome.
Fucking hell. The only way it could be better is if he's smoking a joint. Just if he's high as hell.
It does look like something that belongs on a t-shirt you get at Wildwood. As I get older, I get a new appreciation for this stupid tattoo. But in my 20s,
adding more dad stuff to it, it seems like it would have a speech balloon that would just say like "school sucks" or some shit like that.
But in my 20s, I called into a local radio show in Central Oregon that was just like two guys doing kind of a Rogan thing, but not quite as like two like kind of radio afternoon shock jocks or whatever, and they were talking about bad tattoos. And I called in. I did exactly what I just did and described this tattoo to them. And they got a kick out of it, right? Mm-hmm. These two radio DJs. So much so that like a month later, I turned on the radio, this classic rock station, and I heard both of them saying, I mean, this was bad. It's not alien on a mountain bike bad, but it was pretty bad. So they were still using it as a point of reference for terribleness. A month later, and I was just like, God, this is a classic rock station. God, I hope Dad doesn't listen to this. It's not like a podcast where I can say it and I'll know for a fact he'll never hear it.
Yeah.
So...
Oh, God. Did he ever hear it? Did it happen? Did it hit?
I don't... Nope. This is not... To my knowledge, it hasn't.
What if it's just like you stop listening, but it just got bigger and bigger, and then by the end they're just like, and now it's the Alien on a Dirt Bike Comedy Hour. Yeah, we're going to hang out. We're going to talk about bad tattoos like that alien on a bike.
Yeah, that was kind of what it was. And again, it was weeks later. I can bring it up during one episode. The odds of my dad hearing it are slim to none.
Yeah.
But if they keep referencing it, my dad's going to flip through the radio dial at some point.
Yeah. So I've been holding off on getting a tattoo for since I was literally 18, because somebody on the internet said the rule of you have to want your tattoo idea for a year before you get it to make sure you don't get something stupid, which I followed. And it prevented me from getting a Led Zeppelin tattoo when I was 18. I think all in all pretty good because I don't really listen to Led Zeppelin anymore, and I realized that, yeah, that's a pretty dad tattoo to get.
It's a pretty dad tattoo.
But then it turned out to be terrible advice, because after that I was like, okay, well, I know I didn't get a Led Zeppelin tattoo. Great, awesome, that worked. But then it kind of ruined it for me because turns out I don't like anything for more than a year.
This is the problem.
Yeah.
I think what you got to do with this is just kind of accept like the risk, right? Just accept the risk that whatever you put on there, you might feel weird about it later on in life, and that's just something that you're just going to go through with, right?
Yeah. It's just a memorial to how weird of a person you were in 2015.
All right, so that was 15 minutes of talk about tattoos and Super Bowls.
Yeah.
That's good enough. That's good enough for an intro. Welcome to Breaking Mayberry, a program where we talk about the Andy Griffith Show and other baby boomer television. And today we are doing 2 episodes that are kind of the same episode.
Sort of?
You know?
Yeah.
You know, both of these kind of like boil down to Aunt B invites an annoying guy to come over.
Yeah.
We are doing Season 5, Episode 3, and Season 5, Episode 5. We're skipping Episode 4. I want to get a guest for it, but we might not. But anyway, I'm glad we put these 2 together anyway, because they work well together. Especially because they were also both directed by Howard Morris. By the way, is Ernest T. Bass. The actor who plays Ernest T. Bass. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, he sucks at this.
He's not great at it.
No, he's really bad. Oh, I'm glad he's expanding his range. He should stick to acting. He's not good at this.
Yeah, he's not good at this. And I would say if he is, as much as we hate his character, good at being Ernest T. Bass. Like, okay, so we're starting with I think we're gonna go in order on this one, right? We're gonna start with Season 3 or Episode 3, Family Visit. Originally airs October 5th, 1964. Written by Jim Fretzel and Everett Greenbaum, and directed by Howard Morris. And here is your 1-sentence summary from Wikipedia. Aunt B's sister and her overbearing, obnoxious family come to visit from out of state. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it, right? Like, this is an aggressively nothing episode.
This episode, both of these episodes together kind of become like, this show is getting increasingly dad, and this is like the most dad pairing of episodes of just like, I don't like it when people stay in my house and they don't respect my rules. I don't care for it. There's they're treading on my authority. They're not respecting me. I can't get into an overt conflict, so I just gotta kind of grumble and deal with it. Not a fan. Not a particular issue. I'm not very upset. I'm just kind of upset all the time.
Yeah, like, Andy's reactions to these are just really strong. Ah, brother. And they really kind of fall under Andy's, like, no conflict ever rule, right?
Yeah.
So, this episode opens up with Aunt B, Andy, and Opie sitting on the porch watching everybody go to church. And they're like, hey, buddy, enjoy church. Yeah, we went to the early service.
Yeah.
So we're hanging out here. Have fun. There's a funny bit where Opie spoils Cain and Abel for a kid. Opie's like, "Hey, they're doing a sermon on Cain and Abel, and this is really big." And Andy's basically like, "No, don't ruin it. Spoiler alert."
Ah, it's adorable. But also,
I like that joke.
Andy is like, "Shut the fuck up. Shut up." Like, he's not like,
"Shut up,
Opie, you little rascal. Don't tell them the plot." He's like, "Opie, shut the hell up." Like,
yeah.
Just continuing his Season 5 trend of being a bad dad.
And then Aunt B starts getting wistful because she notices a family that's like 4 generations of people named Claude. Claude Sr., Claude Jr., Plain Claude, and Little Claudette.
Yeah.
They go by Toad naming rules, apparently, in this family. But Plain Claude, who should be Claude the Third, they just call him Plain Claude. They talk about how maybe they call him Plain Claude because he's just so homely. They're like, oh, he's not that homely. Whatever. Wet fart. Anyway, Aunt B starts going on a tangent here where she's like, we never have family come over. Opie's never met any of his cousins. Andy, you haven't seen any of your cousins for 15 years or so. But you boys used to be so... Anyway, she starts getting nostalgic for...
They talk about how his cousin works on oil rigs all over the country, and Opie's like, does he ever work in America? And Andy just basically says, like, no, he had a brutal divorce, so he doesn't come into the continental United States anymore.
Yeah, he kind of says it like as a gag, like, yeah, something to do with a girl in Cleveland, Ohio. It was a gag, but he kind of treats it like, no, he can't enter the country.
Yeah,
like,
kind of. That's the vibe. Is like, no, illegally there are warrants out for his arrest, so he needs to stay in international waters.
if he sets foot on foreign soil, he's in trouble. And you'll notice that all of the countries that I just listed, they don't have extradition treaties. So,
Yeah, it's like he likes to say in South America, Hong Kong, Thailand,
France for some reason.
Yeah. But everything's cool. Don't look up his name. Don't ask around about him. You might hear some stories about the Cleveland Slasher. Don't worry about it.
Anyway, this all culminates in Aunt B going, you know what? I'm going to invite my sister and her husband to come stay with us with their kids for a few days. And so they do. They invite her sister Nora and her brother-in-law Ollie to visit. And they have 2 kids who are a little bratty. But basically...
They have brat energy, but they don't do anything.
They don't do anything.
They
don't do anything.
They look.
I'm looking at the Mayberry fandom, and it says they show up with their rotten kids. And Andy tries his best to... These kids don't do anything.
They look like little bastards. I'm not... Take one look at those kids' faces, and you're like, you're little shits that do terrible things all fucking day.
I mean, I want to hang out with these kids, but...
Their worst thing is... They are not very well behaved when they are forced to share a twin bed with 2 other boys. They're like, I want to sleep in the middle, and then one of them has his knee in Opie's back, and it's like, they're being little shits, but also they're sharing a bed that is barely containing the 3 of them. Fuck off. Get a sleeping bag, you assholes.
Yeah, I don't know why no one was crashing on the couch. The Mayberry Wiki, ultra reliable Mayberry Wiki, pointed out that there is a 4th bedroom in the Griffith house or in the Taylor house. They have a guest room. That's where Gomer stayed. But that whenever the plot is convenient, that bedroom will disappear.
Yeah,
it'll disappear so that we can get the imagery of Andy in bed with this giant weird penguin man. This annoying penguin man. So. Most of the frustration comes from Ollie, who is a very annoying person. Ollie, a very irritating person.
Ollie rolls in, the family rolls in, and they're all saying hi. And one weird interaction I clocked was Ollie walks in and Andy just goes like, "Oh, hey, you're fat." And Ollie just goes like, "Yeah, man, you're kind of fat too. Look at you, got a belly." And he's like, "Yeah, I got a belly." And then they just kind of move on to the other thing. But it was just a really weird interaction of "Hey, we both got guts. Woo!"
I think that's how a lot of baby boomer reunions go, right?
Yeah.
I think a lot of high school reunions are just hey, we look the same but fatter now.
Yeah. Look at us.
It's
March
the first
of time.
thing you immediately notice. Yeah. Yeah.
And that is basically the most confrontational and direct that Andy gets with them through the entire time, of just casually mentioning that Ollie is fat.
Ollie's just kind of a weird shithead.
Yeah.
He steals the squad car to go fishing, and he won't stop blaring the siren even after Andy tells him not to.
He hangs out at Andy's job and plays with the guns a lot, and he hassles people that come in to pay parking tickets.
He points a rifle right at Andy, right?
Yeah.
This is a dude who hangs out. Quick note: Barney Fife is in neither of these episodes. And this is a dude who hangs out with Barney Fife all day, and this is what made Andy go, "Okay, man, let's put that gun down. Let's put that away."
He was pointing a shotgun at his face and dry firing repeatedly.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Nora keeps trying to hook Andy up with girls that he likes back home. Which, by the way, let's talk about this.
Okay.
Because Nora won't shut up about how hot Andy is. It's very weird. This is her nephew.
Yeah. Okay. So her specific opening, so they enter the kitchen. First interaction. She says, "You were such a handsome boy, and you turned into a handsome man, and I knew you were going to be a handsome man because of how handsome a boy you were. Handsome boys turned into handsome men. So handsome. You were such a handsome boy who turned into a handsome man." And Ollie just basically comes in and
You're allowed to say that once.
You
Auntie.
were, yeah. You say you were a handsome boy and you're a handsome man, and then you probably, if you need to keep talking about it, you stay on the handsome man point. You don't keep circling back to handsome boy.
But I mean, she just keeps finding ways to say it feels like nobody wrote this part. It feels like this scene is ad-libbed.
Yeah.
And they just gave her one riff to go on. But yeah, no, basically her entire thing is just talking about how hot Andy is. And she keeps trying to hook Andy up with girls from her hometown, even after she's notified that he has a girlfriend.
And she says, like, I know so many girls back home who would just love to get married to you. And Ollie counters this by saying, no, he's single out here and just crushing it. He's like, basically, he's like, you can't set him up with one of your friends. When would he find time to crush pussy all over town like I assume he's doing? I've been in his kitchen for 5 seconds.
Except he does sign off on hooking him up with one girl because she has she's a widower with a life insurance policy, a $4,000 life insurance policy, and a taco truck or like an ice cream truck,
a bakery truck. And
bakery truck.
They're having a conversation about this, and Andy is like, "Well, I'm actually in a relationship." And Ampy goes like, "She's the local school teacher," and Ollie says, "You know what they say about school teachers." And then Ollie's wife, whose name I'm blanking on, says,
Nora.
Well, and Nora says, well, this woman is a widow. And he goes, you know what they say about widows. At which point I was like, I want you to tell me what they say about both of these things.
I don't know what they say about either of these. Please expound.
The way he's saying, you know what they say, it's not that they're very caring and loving partners. That's not really the implication. It's like, you know what they say about widows, they do anal. Like, it's really, that is the vibe that he gives off. Which, it's super gross. Like, Nora's already being fucking gross and weird by just, like, getting really all about Andy's dick as soon as she shows up. And Ollie is making it weirder. They're doing kind of a weird Ollie-oop.
I think that's the difference between the annoying people in this episode and the annoying guy in the next episode. Yeah. Which is that, like, that guy is annoying, yes, but these two are annoying and gross and off-putting.
Yeah.
Like, these two, and that's why I can't, by the way, I gotta say, don't watch this episode. I didn't want to watch this. It's just, I feel like every year there's like 1 or 2 episodes of the Andy Griffith Show that's just like, what if a guy came from a different town and he sucked?
Yeah. No.
What if we spent half an hour with a guy who sucks? And won't that be fun? And
it's not like they're quirky. It's not like they do weird stuff. Like, Ollie doesn't sleepwalk, or like Ollie doesn't have like some sort of head injury that makes him think that he's like a general in the Weimar Republic. There's no weird.
There was the bad luck guy.
The bad luck guy
who had bad luck.
That was it. Ollie's deal is just that he's a very unpleasant person to be around in a very realistic way. And there's not really jokes about it. They don't really get into bits. It's just like Ollie just shows up and he's just like, I'm going to make a really annoying noise for, let's say, 2 minutes, and both Andy and the audience need to sit here and deal with it. And, like, by the 10-minute mark, I'm like, okay, I actually need Ollie to shut the fuck up.
He's Cousin Eddie. He's, like, the impetus for Cousin Eddie.
Yeah. But, but not funny. I really can't emphasize enough. Ollie is
how unfunny this is.
How really deeply unfunny Ollie is as a person. He's just a very real annoying guy that you have probably encountered in your day-to-day life. You do not need this man to be written. You know him. You have met Ollie, and you hate his guts. And you got out of that conversation as quickly as possible.
He's probably your uncle.
Yes. You know the uncle that you don't particularly like and you kind of avoid at family gatherings? Introducing a written version of that. Congratulations. You are paying money to encounter that guy now.
Anyway, the solution for all of this, by the way, is the stupidest shit imaginable.
Yeah.
Andy hears a news report on the radio while they're listening. And the news report says, there have been escaped convicts and they are in the area. By the way, the voice of the news report is also Howard Morris.
Oh, that's nice.
If you listen, you're like, okay, like you can hear the Ernest T. Bass in it.
They escaped in some kick-ass way, like they fashioned a gun out of a bar of soap or something. They did some rad MacGyver shit.
Ollie's like, well, what are you gonna do in a situation like this, Andy? And Andy's like, probably nothing.
Yeah.
He closes his newspaper and turns off the radio. He's like, more than likely they'll go the other direction, so we don't need to worry about this.
Yeah.
Which, again, Andy just fucking care about anything. Just have a reaction to like anything ever. Please.
The radio comes on and the announcer says, announcing the raddest shit is happening over on the other side of the screen. Just like slightly out of frame, there's a car chase. These supervillains are able to fashion ordinary objects into a weapon like their bullseye. They're throwing staplers at the police and killing them instantly with headshots. It's fucking awesome. Oh man, I sure wish you could see this, the audience. And Andy's like, and that's enough of that, radio off. Back to this uncomfortable family drama.
Like, he's just sitting there, like, he's reading the newspaper the whole time, and he's like, I can't concentrate on the jumble.
Sure wish rad shit would stop happening.
But yeah, and Ollie starts bragging, like, I tell you what, he started saying, I wish those criminals would. I wish they would. If those criminals did come this way, you and me, Andy, we'd take care of them, wouldn't we? We'd take that shit. We'd really handle that. And Andy's like, yeah, sure, man, whatever. Okay. By the way, by this point, they have extended their stay from a weekend to a week. I'm just going to say, also, by the way, remember how Aunt B was the whole impetus for this whole thing?
Mm-hmm.
She disappears.
Yeah, she fucks right off.
For this whole thing.
Before we go to Andy's solution, I just want to point out there have been multiple chances for Andy to express any sort of dissatisfaction with these people. For example, Nora at one point says, like, Andy's driving them around in the cop car. Ollie keeps turning on the siren. And Nora says, Ollie, Andy clearly wants you to stop playing with the siren. Andy, just tell him to stop doing it. Andy's like, it's fine that he keeps doing that, but if he wants to stop, it would be pretty cool. But, he can do what he wants. It's a free country. And another time they're like, we're going to extend our stay for another week. And Andy just goes like, I guess that's fine. It's not ideal for me, but whatever makes you guys happy.
Yeah, the weirdness of this is that, like, I went into this thinking, like, Andy Taylor is like the dad. He's the man's man. Yeah. He's like he's daddy. He's gonna put everything in its place. He's gonna like set things right. Andy Taylor in this season so far is a bitch.
He sucks so hard.
You can do anything to him that you want. At least Don Knotts, at least Barney Fife will get aggressive. At least he'll like yell, and then he'll simper away.
Yeah,
but,
he'll express modest amounts of dissatisfaction with the state of things.
You can do anything, and basically for both of these episodes, Andy's solution is to just sit around and see what happens. In this case, the very next scene, he gets a phone call, and he's like, "Oh, cool! You caught those criminals? Cool! Thanks for letting me know. I was just hanging out." And then he gets an idea, and it's like, he phones home, and he's like, "Hey, tell Ollie those criminals are coming this way." And then Ollie packs up their shit and they run away. It's the
only funny part of the episode. Where Ollie, he's basically like, Ollie, I'm going to be at the apartment in 2 minutes. I'm grabbing an extra gun. You and me are going to have a standoff with the criminals. And Ollie, they hard cut to Ollie throwing all of their shit in the car and saying, I left the gas on at the house. We got to go back and get it. We have to leave now. And then he like throws his family in the car and drives away. So that's how Andy solves it.
The stinger of this episode is Aunt B and Andy hanging out on the porch going, "Whoo, boy, glad that's over. Yeah, man, it really sucks to have your family over." And then Aunt B answers the phone. "Oh, hey, Nora. We loved having you over here. Please come and hang out with us again at the holidays and stay for a week." And then Andy just rolls his eyes. Doop, 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 ba-doop, doop, doop. That's it.
This is...
You know what? Fine. That's fine. That's a very realistic... Like, your mom has definitely done that exact same thing. You know, that's fine. It's not funny, but, like, it's relatable.
This is... I mean, it is I'm pretty sure this is... Like, Andy is the man's man, like, house is my castle type dad, because this is ultimately what those dads do when you actually like infringe upon their authority. Is just
if you press them whatsoever, they just mope into the den.
They go mope, and then later they bitch to their wives about how, like, "I don't want them to be here. You shouldn't have invited them. I told you I didn't want them to come over, Clara. God damn it."
Just scroll through r/am I the asshole, and you'll see, you know, many stories of men doing this exact thing and then blowing up at their wives and saying, "Am I the asshole for blowing up at my wife?"
Literally, he could have just said, "Hey, you can't stay here another week," just because I don't want my son to have to share a bed with 2 other boys for a fucking week.
Yeah. I don't want to sleep in a bed with you anymore, dude.
Yeah.
Like, this is weird. This is weird and uncomfortable.
Yeah. Are you having a good time sharing a bed with another man? For some reason, we haven't invented the king bed yet. We only have queens everywhere.
No one on the couch? No?
Nobody?
No one for the couch?
Nobody would find it preferable to sleep on the floor. We all have to share beds with each other. You don't want to share a bed with your actual wife, maybe?
Right.
No?
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, that doesn't work for me.
I mean, I know that, like, it's the 60s and you're not going to show this, right? We're not going to put married couples together, but, like, Andy goes and sleeps on the couch. The married couple sleeps in Andy's bed. The end.
Yeah.
Whatever.
So dumb. So fucking stupid. These people suck.
Everybody here sucks. But that's Ollie and his deal. Okay. Now let's move on to... do we have anything else to say about this one? I have nothing to say. This isn't an interesting episode.
No, it sucks. I think we covered it.
Okay, now let's move on to episode 5 of season 5, Aunt B's Romance, also directed by Howard Morris, written by Harvey Bullock. Originally airs October 19th, 1964. Aunt B resumes her romance with an old flame, Roger Hanover, a practical joker with a suspicious background.
Wait.
No, what? No.
Marty, hold on. Are you telling me that this is an Aunt B episode?
This is an Aunt B No. Yes,
Marty,
Dan.
Marty, are you telling me this is an Aunt B episode?
This is an Aunt B episode.
That this
it's
is
right in the title. It's right in the title.
Are you telling me that this is an episode in which Aunt B is horny?
It's an Aunt B horny episode.
Are you telling me that this is an episode where a horny Aunt B has sex with a drifting con man?
Yes. I am.
We're back, baby!
We're back! We're boom! We're
boom! Firework! Yeah! It's like we're back in
Start playing Rihanna in the background.
Woo! Season 1 plot, baby!
We're all the way back!
Jerry,
playing the hits!
Whoa! Let's go!
Except not.
No!
Except no.
Almost!
Because after the initial bit, once again, Aunt B fucking disappears from this story.
She's not in the episode. Okay.
It's named after her, but she fucking disappears. Real quick, by the way, Roger Hanover is played by an actor named Wallace Ford, and if we want to do a shut up and play the hits here, let's go ahead and look at Wallace Ford's personal life section of his Wikipedia page.
Let's do it.
Because this was Wallace Ford's final appearance on television.
Oh, no.
Was on the Andy Griffith Show. After the death of his wife in February 1966, Ford moved into the motion picture and television Country House and Hospital at Woodlands Hills, California, and died in the hospital there of heart failure 4 months later. His body was buried in an unmarked grave at Culver City's Holy Cross Cemetery.
Yeah!
This is actually what it says in his Wikipedia page. So, playing the hits with the well of human misery that is every guest star on the Andy Griffith Show.
Why is that grave unmarked? What the fuck?
You clearly know his name.
Yeah. Did he die penniless and estranged from everyone he loves so that nobody would pay for an engraving and they just thumped a big piece of rock over the place where they dumped his wet body? Is that what it is? Hell yeah, we're back, baby!
I'm saying that this man was in several movies and television shows, all of which have his name on it. It's not like you can't identify him.
Yeah! An unmarked grave sounds extremely like he was murdered and dumped in a ditch.
So
He
anyway.
was buried in an unmarked grave because we knew that if people knew where he was, they were going to vandalize the gravesite. He did things that were unforgivable, and we could not let people know where his final resting place was.
God, I really liked most of this episode. I really liked a good chunk of this episode. And then right at the end, it takes a fucking hard left to Assholeville.
I watched this episode just basically the entire time going like, just fucking deal with it, Andy. Just deal with it. Just deal with it, Andy. I know. I see your facial expression. And I'm telling you right now, Andy. Just fucking deal with it. Don't ruin this, Andy.
I was screaming at the TV as well. I was like, just let this woman be happy, Andy.
Yes. That's kind of the problem is like, as soon as Aunt B was like, oh, look at me, I might be experiencing happiness. Maybe I'll get married. I was like, oh, damn it. They're going to take this away from her. Fuck.
So this opens up with Andy and Opie hanging out. They're in the living room. The mail comes. Opie gets the mail. There's a little bit about Opie getting like a coupon book because it's addressed to occupant, and he's really excited that I'm an occupant. Whatever. I really like this joke. This is a very funny bit where Aunt B gets a letter and she can't make out the return address, so she doesn't know who the letter's from. So rather than opening the letter, she sits there and goes, Raleigh, who do I know in Raleigh? Could it have been Linda? No, Linda's not writing letters with her arthritis. And she goes on for a bit, and Andy's just yelling, open the letter, open it. I thought this was very
pretty
funny.
good.
I thought this was good. I thought Frances Bavier was really funny. This was a very like grandma thing to do. I liked that a lot. I was gonna say, and the bit continues to be funny because she opens the letter and then she goes, "Oh, I'm so surprised. Oh, he wrote me. He wrote me after all these years. Andy, can you believe he wrote me?" And Andy goes, "Yeah, I guess. Seems like the kind of thing he would do."
Yeah, he's actually like having fun.
All of this is very funny. I really liked it. Frances Bavier gets to do something for fucking the first time in 3 seasons, you know? And so it is. It's a letter from her old beau, her old boyfriend, Roger Hanover, and who says, you know, basically like, hey, I was just, you know, heard you around, just looking you up. Heard you in Mayberry, figured I'd write you. Sup.
Basically a you up text.
Yes, yeah, exactly. You up? Well, look at that, Andy. He wants to know if I'm up.
Yeah, oh, so charming.
I am up. It's true.
Should I mail him back a winky face, Andy? Do you think?
It's you know, it's so funny, Andrew. It's so funny, Andy. I'm up, but I'm also down, if you know what I mean.
It's pretty good. Yeah, and I really can't emphasize enough that Andy's general demeanor hearing all this is like, oh my god, this is the first interesting thing to happen in like 3 months. Oh my god.
Mine too!
Yeah!
Me too!
Yeah, he's like, general vibe is like, Andy is trapped in a hell of boring people that he hates, and he's just like, oh my god, somebody's plot is advancing. Fuck yes, fuck yeah.
I'm right there with
change
you.
In this molasses-like life of mine.
I'm right there with you, buddy.
Yeah.
I'm right there. I was also like, hell yeah, something's gonna happen.
Yeah. Like, maybe, I know as a part of the structure of the show that Aunt B will not experience real lasting happiness, but maybe some fleeting joy in her hollow life. Yeah! Let's go!
And everything, the build up to this is really good. Like, you know, everything involves Andy saying, okay, well, you know, you're gonna write him back, and she goes, you know, some point, if I get around to it. Okay, bye now, and like she immediately goes to a pen.
Like frantically scribbling on a piece of paper.
Andy starts teasing her gently a little bit when she finds out that Roger's coming. And he's like, okay, so you excited? You gonna have fun? And B's like, oh, this isn't a big deal. It doesn't matter. It's just a person who's hanging out at the house. People hang out at the house all the time. It doesn't matter. And he goes, yeah, okay. Hey, what time you going to the beauty parlor? 9:00. Hey, shut.
It's good. It's good.
It's good. It's good.
It's like they
good.
remembered that Andy Griffith and Francis Bouvier have good back and forth and are capable of banter. For fuck's sake,
they have personality.
That the old spinster character actually is like distinct from the other types of dudes on this show, and actually has like unique jokes that they can do.
Francis Bouvier is so funny.
Yeah.
Right? I watched this and I kept thinking about the prison labor episode where she follows them around the house, the criminals around the house with a whistle, yelling, "Get to it!"
Yeah,
it was hilarious. She goes toe to toe with Hal Smith, who is probably the best comedic actor on the show.
Yeah,
and wins.
Yeah,
and
she gets like these 5 fucking minutes to,
and they don't let her do anything. No wonder she hated this show. No wonder she hated Andy Griffith. They don't let her do anything. And here, she gets to do some stuff, and then Roger shows up, and Roger is annoying. He's like grandpa annoying.
He is. He's literally the guy that dated my grandma when I was in high school.
He's in a permanent state of getting your nose.
Yes. Old guy, bad jokes. Fucking deal with it. Welcome to having an old guy date your grandma, basically. This is what it is. They do weird, dumb jokes all the fucking time, and you just get through your life.
In fact, I'm going to tell you right now, if you watch this show as a child, you don't get to be mad at Roger because you are Roger now.
Yes.
Right? You absolutely are Roger. You're absolutely going up to your grandkids and being like, hey, give me 5 or too slow. Ah.
Marty, are the jokes even that fucking bad?
They're not. They're not that bad. He tells Aunt B a dirty joke, a kind of dirty joke. He says hey, what did the mirror say to the dresser? And then she goes, I don't know. And then he whispers something in her ear, and she goes, oh, you're bad. And they go up. By the way, the punchline to that joke is, I can see your drawers.
Yeah.
But, whatever. It's a day. Andy sits down to dinner or to breakfast, and Roger's hiding behind a newspaper, and then he pulls down the newspaper and he's wearing a gorilla mask and yells, "Take me to your leader," which doesn't make any sense, but also grandpa jokes. Whatever.
In terms of grandpa jokes, this guy's bringing heat. All right, it's a low bar to clear. It's a low bar. They're usually pretty bad, and you know what? He's not doing the knock jock joke. All right, a lot of what you get from grandpa jokes, knock jokes and shit like that. Bad riddles. He's actually putting his back into it. They're not landing, but you know what? For the circumstances, they're pretty fucking good.
Yeah. I got nothing against Roger. He's fine. He's annoying, but he's fine.
Yeah.
Whatever. Andy is very gets sick of Roger's shit real fast.
Yeah.
And then he goes to complain about this. He just goes to his best buddy and not at all an annoying person, Floyd.
Yeah. Floyd just kind of extremely vacantly just does not absorb any information. Post-stroke, Howard McNear played Floyd. To catch up, Howard McNear had a stroke. They had to leave Floyd off the show for a season and a half. He came back. He's always sitting now because he can't really stand up for long durations of time. And they made the interesting decision that this version of Floyd does not understand literally anything happening around him at any point in time.
I don't think that's unique to post-stroke Floyd, though. Pre-stroke Floyd also had maybe a 10% comprehension of what was going on at any point.
Yes, but he was understanding the world around him, experiencing it, becoming weirdly horny about everything. Floyd was Floyd was reacting to stimuli. He was just doing it wrong.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
This version of Floyd is uncomfortable. I'm just gonna say it, like unpleasant. But
you might as well just be talking to a magic 8-ball when you talk to this version of Floyd. It's weird. He's like a snow globe, pretty much. He's not. The things he hears and say do not in any way correspond to what is happening outside of him.
All of that being said, I did like this scene with Floyd. I liked it when Andy and Floyd go back and forth about who said a famous quote that was said by Mark Twain. And Floyd says something like, I thought it was Calvin Coolidge. Nah, Mark Twain said it. Did he get it from Calvin Coolidge? No. Mark Twain lived before Calvin. Oh, then he couldn't have done it. They run into Roger and Aunt B.
Andy's Taylor's disposition at the end of this conversation is just being like, "Oh my fucking god, it was Mark fucking Twain!" Like, just like he can't get through any interaction without just being annoyed by the end of like, Jesus fucking Christ! I said it the first fucking time. Would all of you people shut up? He's just in a constant state of mild rage, just for the remainder of the show.
Which is why, like, when he runs into Roger and Aunt B the very next minute, coming out of the grocery store, he's like, man, I just don't want to deal with your shit. By the way, Roger, like, just elected to come by and help Aunt B with the grocery shopping, which is more than I've ever seen you do, Andrew.
You son of a bitch.
So, anyway, I don't know. He tells some dumb joke, and then he fucks off, and Floyd says, "Oh, what a nice fellow. Oh, what a weird fellow." And he just goes off and gives like the most emotion I've seen for like a year. It's like, I fucking hate that guy, Floyd. I gotta tell you, Floyd, I can't stand this asshole.
Which the next scene is Opie and Andy in the living room, and Opie is just like, "So you don't like him, right?" And Andy's like, "Well, you know, being respectful to people, and he's a guest in our home, and we want to be nice to people regardless of things." And Opie's just like, "So you hate him? Good, cool. I hate him too, all right? Listen, we're on the same page." And
I like this scene too. I like that they're playing and having fun with Opie now that he's older. Like, Opie getting older is actually working because Opie can be a little bit of a smartass. Opie can challenge his dad on things, which no one else does.
I was waiting for the next thing he said to just be like, "So what are we gonna do about it, old man? Like, are we killing him? What's the plan here?" Okay,
but while they're doing that, like while they're having that conversation, Aunt B is like doing dishes in the kitchen, and Roger volunteers to help her.
Yes.
Says, "Yeah, I will help you wash them. I'll dry them. I'll help you with some of this labor," which nobody in this house has ever done. She kicks him out, but like he gives her like a squeeze and a little kiss on the back of the neck. It's cute. They're cute. I really enjoyed this, and I'm sitting there like we said before, just saying, "Shut the fuck up, Andy. Shut up.
Let her have this, you son of a bitch.
This is a good thing. Let this woman be happy.
Yeah.
She raised you. You fucking owe her.
She does unpaid labor around your house all fucking day. Just let her have happiness, you son of a bitch."
Yeah, exactly. And like, I'm just screaming, "Let her have the." And I just said it. I see, Andy, don't you fucking dare! Don't you dare meddle with this, because I wanted this so bad for her. I wanted Aunt B to have something. I wanted Frances Bavier to have something to do. Meanwhile, while they're doing the dishes, Andy is trying to like attach a plug. He's doing some electrical work. Like, he's got to attach a plug, tie a plug to an electrical cord or whatever. And Roger comes in and he looks at that and he goes, "Oh, yeah, you're doing some electrical work. Hey, man, you want to be careful with that. You might want to get a whole nother cord. Yeah, you screw that up, it could light your whole house on fire." The thing that, like, men do when you're working on something and they just kind of, like, look over your shoulder and tell you what you're doing wrong or whatever. That annoying thing that grandpas do.
Yes.
And then he takes the cord. He's like, "Nah, let me try it." And he breaks the cord. So I want to take a pause here.
Yeah.
We've now gotten two annoying guys who are just up in Andy's business all the time. May I remind you, Barney Fife is not in either of these episodes. Are either of these men as annoying to have around in your life as Barney Fife is?
Neither of them are a clear and present danger to you or your family.
That's what I feel. Ollie is. Ollie definitely is.
To a minor degree. No more than any uncle, really.
Ollie does point a rifle at Andy. Like, Ollie's gun tactics are enough to make Andy stand up and go, okay, man, no.
No more than any uncle, really.
Yeah, okay. Fair enough.
So, but yeah, no. Insane lunatic that has no sense of boundaries and is constantly, and has organized 2 ambushes on you to announce that you are getting married.
So that's my point, right? Like, Andy, your best friend is the most annoying man on the planet, and your second best friend is Floyd, and your third best friend is Gomer. You are surrounded by annoying people all the time. Everybody in Mayberry is annoying. Shut up.
This whole experience that he's having is basically like, is basically him just being like, oh my god, this is why I'm glad my dad is dead. Like, that's like, it's basically just like, okay, dude, welcome to being over 30 and having a dad. Like, this is what it's like. Welcome to the human race.
That one got uncomfortable. You okay, bud?
Oh yeah, I'm fine. When I said, oh, I'm glad my dad is dead, I was talking through Andy.
Just want to make sure. Just want to make sure that this is about Andy and not something else. Okay.
No, yeah. My dad's super dead. No. Like, this is just dad behavior is what I'm saying. This is shit dads do.
It is deeply dad behavior, right?
He criticizes him trying to do minor electrical work and then interferes and breaks it. Like, welcome. Cool. Fine. This is what it is.
Does Andy have a dad?
I'm assuming he's dead.
No, but
they just talked about how Opie has never met any other members of his family.
Right. But they didn't mention a grandpa, and we know that Aunt B raised Andy. So did Andy ever know his father? Has Opie's grandpa ever been mentioned? Opie's grandpa has to have been mentioned, right? At some point?
No mention of it.
No
mention of his grandpa, his grandma.
Andy never knew his father? That might explain quite a bit.
Yeah, why he's like, what the fuck is going on here? There's an older man getting into my business. How? I'm not supposed to tolerate this, am I? Definitely not for longer than 3 days.
Here's where this all fucking comes to a head, right? This is the left turn to Assholeville I previously mentioned. Andy is hanging out on the porch, and Roger's getting up in his business, and Andy comes close to a confrontation, and he says, like, hey, man, what are you doing? Like, what's next for you? You were in Raleigh, now you're in Mayberry, where are you going next? And I assumed he lived in Raleigh, so I didn't understand why suddenly it was just, like, up in the air what he would be doing.
He basically opens by saying, like, hey, man, quick question, are you homeless?
Yeah.
There's a lot of subtext to this conversation.
There's a lot of subtext, and I had to figure that out, right? In fact, like, the Wikipedia one-sentence summary describes him as a practical joker with a suspicious background. But what is, like, up until this moment, I didn't see anything suspicious about the background. And that's why what happens here comes out of fucking nowhere. And it made me so mad, the hit job, the character assassination they're doing on my boy here.
The conversation comes in phases, where first Andy asks, hey, are you homeless? And he basically goes like, a little bit. I was in Raleigh, now I'm here. I was going to go to Florida after, but I'm having such a great time with Aunt B that I think I want to stay here. To which Andy goes, uh-huh. And he goes like, in fact, I was thinking of asking her to marry me. Uh-huh. And she will definitely say yes. In which case, I think I'm probably going to end up living in your house. Unless you said you didn't want me to. In which case, I would respect your wishes. Of course, then you would have to give me $400 for train fare, so I would leave. And then they have a long stare at each other, and Andy goes like, well, you better go propose to her. So it is basically Andy kind of challenges, be like, what are your intentions? Are you on the up and up? Are you actually, I think that you might be here under illicit terms. To which Roger just basically goes like, actually, I'm running the most insane con that anyone has ever come up with.
What? This con? What is the plan here? Step
I'm
one.
doing the old lady shuffle.
Step one, I'm gonna write my old girlfriend. Step 2, I'm gonna hope she invites me to stay at her house. Step 3, I'm gonna be mildly annoying the whole time. Step 4, I'm going to irritate her adult nephew that I didn't know existed so much that he pays me to leave. Or step 5, I marry her?
Yeah.
What the fucking long game? And that's why
But he wasn't going to marry her because Andy says, go ahead, marry her. To which he goes in and just goes like, well, I'm leaving. And then he comes back out and he asks like, so do you ever play poker? And Andy
because he called his bluff.
Yeah. And he's like, yeah, I actually used to be pretty good at poker. So he
lending credence to our Andy Griffith former con man theory, but also this is a stupid con.
This is an insane con. Like Andy Griffith Show con men just basically do bizarre Hail Marys. They're just like the way you were a con man in in the 60s was just like, I'm just gonna go into town and I'm just gonna start handing out free apples to everybody, and then through an insane series of coincidences I'm going to end up with a guy's car. Ha-cha-cha.
And this comes out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Right? We've been given no hints so far up until this point that there was anything illicit about Rogers being there. And all his greatest crime at that point is making Aunt B happy.
Yes. He makes Aunt B extremely happy. He is a great and loving partner who I'm sure is just hitting her back walls like crazy. And
splitting the labor.
Yes.
And offering to help her with chores.
Splitting, Marty.
I'm just saying like he's taken on, he's doing his share of the work in the kitchen and in some other rooms. That's all I'm saying.
Yes.
The man takes care of business.
He is he is as generous in the kitchen as he is in the bedroom.
Yeah, sure. Just come right and say it. Fuck it.
We can edit that out if I stepped on your bit.
Can we just say here, we love Roger.
I don't know if I love Roger, but I'm on board. He's good for MB and he pisses off Andy, and at this point I like one of them and hate the other, so he's okay in my book.
Adding Roger to the long list of Andy Griffith antagonists who we are all for.
Yeah, basically. He's helping out around the house. He's earned the right to criticize your shitty electrical work.
And honestly, the electrical work thing, taking the cable and ruining it, that is exactly a Barney Fife move. You could have taken every line of that dialogue, given it to Don Knotts, and played out the scene exactly the same.
Okay, we have glossed over Roger's the final straw that Roger did that brings this whole thing to a head. Andy has a bunch of petunias that he is planning on planting in his garden, to which Roger says, I would like to help. I'm very good at planting petunias. To which Andy freaks the fuck out and goes so fucking ballistic. More than he did when Ollie 20 fucking minutes ago pointed a gun at his head and pulled the trigger. Says, listen to me. You might have opinions about electrical work, but nobody questions me when it comes to planting petunias. People come from all over the county to hear me talk about petunias. So I don't want to hear about any of your petunia opinions. These are my petunias, and I'm going to plant them. And This sounds like one of the ones where I'm paraphrasing or putting a little extra mustard, but barely. Barely. He has this unhinged Petunia monologue to which Roger justifiably goes like, all right, man, I was just trying to help. I just wanted to. And then later, when they're having their like intense like standoff, like it's a scene in Heat, Roger's like, maybe we'll see about me helping with those petunias after all, motherfucker. And Andy goes like, no, that can't happen. The worst case scenario, another man helps me plant flowers.
Couple of notes here. Number one, Andy has not shown any interest in gardening whatsoever this entire like show. We've been doing this for 5 years. This is the first time he's ever mentioned a garden.
Yeah.
Number two, is petunias a euphemism? Is this some Georgia O'Keeffe shit? When Roger talks about not with Andy, but when Roger talks about touching petunias, I feel like Roger's talking about touching some petunias.
Yeah.
Right? Maybe some petunias and a rosebud if you
didn't think this metaphor through because
I did not.
Then Andy is talking about being the reigning authority on his aunt's vagina. So
no. I think that Andy is not like aware of
people
the innuendo.
Come from all over the county to ask my opinion on my aunt's pussy.
I don't think
people gather around.
I don't think Andy's in on it. I don't think Andy's in on the bit, but I think Roger is.
Yeah.
I think it's that line that we that you just mentioned where he says like, I'm going to get into those petunias after all. That I think is innuendo.
Yeah.
So that's point 2. Point 3 is I'm reading a comment from the ultra reliable Mayberry Wiki that was made in April of 2022. This is my least liked AGS. ... I hate it. ... I don't watch ... Scumbag ... Roger ... Andy the sheriff should have arrested him after Roger tried to blackmail him out of $400 ... I hope it was a good lesson at least. These guys hate Roger.
And that reads like a message that's coming through a seance.
or by Morse code.
Yeah.
Like a telegraph. Okay, so the part of the reason why I hate the little twist here that Roger has to be a douchebag is, other than that, like, if it wasn't for that, it's just Andy hates this guy for no reason, right? The show twists its own logic, just twists itself around so that Andy is justified in his behavior. Like, other than this, the only strike against him is Andy doesn't like this guy. So we gotta flip heaven and earth because Andy Taylor can never be wrong.
It's like the writers just kind of, Andy Taylor needs to be right in a situation where he is mildly inconvenienced. So the writers just kind of come in and make up a magic penalty that justify Andy and give him the win. Much like the refs with the goddamn Chiefs. Sorry. So anyway, so Roger fucks off, and I do really like the ending. I think it actually actually sort of ties the whole thing together because Andy goes in and he's like, so you must be really bummed that Roger is leaving. And she was like, oh no, man, I thought he was going to ask me to marry him. And no, thank you. A little bit of that guy goes a long way. I'm really happy he's leaving. And Andy's like, oh, hell yeah. Like, because, Ampy is actually a human being that is able to understand the world around her and is aware of everything happening and isn't completely oblivious.
I liked that too. I liked that ultimately the decision was hers.
Yeah.
And it does mean that like Andy was letting that play out to see what was going to happen. It's just, man, it's just such a hard fucking turn out of nowhere. I had to watch the scene twice. I like backed up. I was like, did I miss something here? What the hell just happened? And so, I mean, it's just a poorly written thing, and it makes me mad. Aunt B can't have nice things. But yeah, I do like that ultimately it came down to her decision, and she was like, No, you know what? It didn't come down to her decision.
No, ultimately she had no agency in this. But...
Yeah, I say that, but no, because he didn't ask her. He just kind of came in and was like, bye. So she never got the opportunity to say no.
The magic trick of it is, like, if you had given Aunt Bee agency, she would have sorted this whole thing out.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Like,
and what a better episode ending that would be. Of course, that would also make Roger's con make even less sense.
Yeah. No,
I don't know. It's just bad writing. It's just
you
poorly
should have
written
had
all
Roger
around.
not be a con man. You should have had Andy just basically be like, I don't want Aunt Bee to marry this guy because he's annoying, and Aunt Bee to just be like turn him down and be like, well, yeah, he's fucking annoying. I like him. He's a nice guy. He fucking wrecks me, but he's annoying. I don't want to spend my life with him. That would have kind of worked.
Yeah, it would be resembling an episode anyway.
Yeah.
Very frustrating. Just a very frustrating pair of episodes to put together.
Yeah.
Like, just, what if there were two annoying guys?
Yeah.
Also, I just want to slide this in here. I know we talk about how easy it was to be a writer in the 60s, but man, seriously, was there nobody around checking just to go, hey man, we just did an annoying guy plot line like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Like, save this one. If you aired 2 episodes of a TV show that were remotely close in plot today within 3 weeks of each other, the internet would riot. You would get fired.
Both of these episodes are not television show plots. They are airing of personal grievances. Like,
that's true.
Basically, the writer came in on both of these and was just like, hung out with my uncle. I wrote down everything he said or did, and now Andy is also going to deal with it. I just want America to know that my Uncle Roger will change his name to Ollie, is a real piece of shit, and I wish I could run him out of town with a fake crime.
These episodes aired in October, so it's not Thanksgiving, but some writers had very annoying 4th of July barbecues. And that was how we got this.
I just had to deal with an annoying old man, and now so do you, okay? We're in this together, you sons of bitches. This was my weekend, now it's yours. Let's go.
I like the idea that Harvey Bullock saw Fritzl and Greenbaum's script and was just like, well, if you get to talk shit about your uncle, so do I.
Yeah. It's just airing of personal grievances and just processing petty slights against them and their masculine authority through scripts.
All right, put it that way, it kind of rules.
Yeah. No, imagine if you could just roll into your job and just write down everything that happened that week that you were not completely happy with, and then just be like, and film this.
What the fuck do you think we do every week, Dan?
That's kind of what this is.
That's what this podcast is.
Yeah, basically. Imagine doing this, but for significantly more money.
And much more audience reach.
Yeah.
On that note, ratings. What do we feel about some ratings? Episode 3, Family Visit. Andy Meter, this episode sucks.
Is there...
2.
Okay. 2. And it's all for that Uncle Ollie packing the car scene.
Yeah.
All the good writing is in that. It's one of those things where they came up with the end of the episode, and the end of the episode kind of rocks. And they were just like, and I'm sure there'll be some funny shit beforehand. But it's all just set up for one punchline. That's good, but doesn't really land.
Barney Meter, I'm giving a 0. There's nothing like bad about this. This didn't do any psychic damage to America.
Well, Vietnam. Yeah, the Vietnam War was currently happening as this.
It was happening in the background, sure.
So
give it the Vietnam bonus.
Yeah, war crimes were happening. I don't know if Agent Orange had started being dropped at this point, but we have to assume.
But other than the Vietnam bonus, yeah, there's nothing here.
Yeah.
Episode 5, Aunt Bee's romance. Andy Meter on that one, 7. I mean, I liked everything that was happening up until that like weird like left turn out of nowhere.
I'm gonna give it a 5. I think just it wasn't very funny.
Oh, I thought it was funny.
I didn't think I thought everything that Roger was doing was like it was like relatable, but it wasn't really funny. I was never laughing during it or particularly enjoying it, but I didn't hate it. So 5, I'll say 5.
I'm gonna go with a 7. I liked it a little bit more. And again, minus the Vietnam bonus, a 0 on the Andy meter or on the Barney meter. Like there's nothing, didn't do any damage there.
Yeah. The depriving an old woman of agency is probably something, but
I mean,
damage, whatever.
Yeah, that didn't really have resonating effects, you know.
So, 1 for Vietnam. Young men were dying in a foreign country, conscripted, a war they did not sign up for, and rich people were getting out of serving through phony medical claims. So, yeah, 1.
1 for this.
Yeah.
You're really going to take... All right, we're doing that Vietnam bit until the end of the war. Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's it. That's this one. That's this round. As always, you can find us on the internet. Facebook, join our group, Breaking Mayberry fans. And hey, if you're going to join the group, please actually answer the questions and say that you like agree with the rules. We've been getting a lot of people applying lately who I think are secretly actual Andy Griffith fans that aren't reading anything. Twitter, we are still Break Mayberry there, but we're using it less and less. We'll probably get back into Instagram at some point. Email us, breakingmayberry@gmail.com. And give us ratings and reviews. Oh, we do have a new Patreon subscriber to thank.
Dope.
Thank you very much, Kelly, for signing up. Kelly will get access to our Discord server and also access to all of our bonus episodes, have the ability to vote and make us watch things of their choice, etc., etc., and several other bonus things that happen throughout the year. So be like Kelly and support us with your money dollars. That is it. I think I'm good. Are you good, Dan?
I'm good.
Okay. Thanks as always for listening. We'll be back in a couple weeks with a brand new episode. We're bringing back Ernest E. Bass, so that'll be a fun one. All right, until then, we will see you all down at the fishing hole.
I might make you go back and do that again.
Boom.